On the posterior side of the spine, we find the spinal extensors, and there's a whole bunch of small muscles, but we're going to kind of generally group them into three groups. The erector spinae group are colored in blue here and start in the lower back and run basically all the way up the spine and all the way up until they attach up all the way even in the skull. So they are going to have actions on the torso and on the neck. So the erector spinae are part of the extensor group, so they're going to extend the spine. They also are going to laterally flex the spine to the same side, and then also rotate the spine. And because this is a big group of different smaller muscles, some of them are going to rotate to the same side and some will rotate to the opposite side. So we'll just talk about the fibers that rotate to the same side or the fibers that rotate to the opposite side. So in the erector spinae, all of them are going to extend and laterally flex the spine, and some of the fibers will rotate to the same side and some of the fibers will rotate to the opposite side. So either effect is possible with the erector spinae. The semispinalis muscles just run along about half the spine, so from the thoracic spine up all the way through the cervical spine and attaching to the skull. So the semi, only half, the semispinalis run along the upper half of the spine. So they are going to have effects on the upper back, the thoracic spine, and also on the cervical spine or the neck. The semispinalis muscles are all going to extend and laterally flex the spine, and they are all going to rotate to the opposite side. So this is a more consistent group of muscles. So all the fibers are running from superior medial attachments to inferior lateral attachments. So they're all going to, when they contract, they're going to rotate to the opposite side. And clarification, this goes for the thoracic spine, or the spine and the cervical spine. So this is true for all of them. So this should include the neck too. So the entire spine. And then the deep posterior muscles are deep to the erector spinae and the semispinalis. So if we move some of these out of the way, we can see these deep posterior muscles running pretty much right along the spine. So there are a bunch of these small muscles that run right along the spine. And like the erector spinae, these run pretty much along the entire spine, all the way from the sacrum all the way up the spine and all the way to the superior part where it attaches to the skull. And also like the erector spinae, they are going to function in extension of the spine, in lateral flexion, and rotation to either side depending on the fibers. And if we zoom into this even a little bit more, if we remove this most superficial layer and then zoom in a little bit more, you can see how there's a whole bunch of these little tiny muscles that attach to the small different the processes of the spine and the ribs and attach the kind of individual vertebrae to each other. So that's why they're called the deep posterior muscles, and they are going to function in extension, lateral flexion, and rotation to either side depending on which muscles and which fibers you're involving.